Peace, 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 put it to peace. Take my headphones out. Um, yeah, I know there was two lives set up. You know, every time I do the command a day, I try something a little different, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So once again, we have the I set up the live, but then couldn't get into the live, so I had to start a whole new one. I'm actually going to see if that other one is going while we're waiting for everyone to get over. I want to see if the other one is still on. Yeah, I don't even see it. Yeah, it's weird. It keeps doing this weird thing. Peace, Christopher Robinson. Um, as usual, always, let me know if you can hear me. But I know some people still have to spill in. Peace, Juanisha, the Plan OG, Christian Drowsy. Give thanks, Greetings from, I know, Christian all the way across the water. Um, you know, a UK family. Yeah, I wanted to. I didn't do it. I did it at a different time. This segment because it's first day, and I know that the 6:30 Eastern time. Peace, Ricochet. I know sometimes may be a little difficult for like our West Coast people. So I said, you know what? Let me give them an extra hour. It's first day, and people probably want to sleep in a little bit. A lot of people don't have to work on first day, um, but it is still the first day of the strong. So I didn't push it back for so much. I said, yeah, I'll give them a extra. I'll give them an extra little hour. Peace, Sister Kashia. So that's why I pushed the time that back. I'll probably do that every first day, just to you know give people a little moment. But yeah, as always, let me know if I'm heard like I'm supposed to be heard, like I'm supposed to be. You know, let me know if you can hear me or if I need to lean in. Peace, Alex Legant. Legant. What does Gaunt mean? Do you know, Alex? Your last name? What is that root? Got it's 4:30 Cali. Yeah. So I actually Peace YG got out. Actually was gonna Wanisha like even put it even further back. I was gonna maybe do like 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. Eastern, so to be like 6:30 a.m. The glove. Okay, the glove. All right, cool. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've known people with that last name Gant or Gant. They pronounce it Gant. I'm not sure how you pronounce yours. I know I always say Legant, but just curious what that meant. I like names. Um, the glove. It's interesting. So, I'm sorry, now my mind is thinking about your name. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was gonna do it like 9:30 Eastern, and I said, okay, that'll be 6:30 for West Coast people. Give them a little chance, cause but maybe next time. Maybe I'll do that next time. But yeah, so won't keep you too long. I know some of you. Peace, Isaiah. How did the chop chop snip snip go? I wanted to ask you actually yesterday evening. How did it go? If you went through with it, you know. Um, but yeah, man. So that's why we're starting at kind of a little different time here. I just wanted to give people a little extra time to lay in and maybe meditate and get some thoughts together before they good, fresh, and clean. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, you went through it. That's good. That's good, brother. Change is a part of the it's a part of life, man. So and Isaiah just cut his hair recently. He had locks. That's what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So he had scheduled himself to cut them yesterday. So yeah, I wanted to contact you last night. So yeah, I went. A lot of times when you have locks and you cut them, man, it could really be just a really cathartic kind of experience. And you always tend to dream different. Of course, a lot of times you feel a lot lighter. So and I've seen people break down and cry as a result too. So everyone has their own kind of different reaction to it. I know for me when I cut, um, I felt like I could breathe. Literally, like I was breathing better. I was breathing different. You know, um, Yeah, I felt like I was breathing different, and I definitely slept better. You know, sleep felt different. There it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You sleep different when you get that energy up off of you, and you have to restart. You know, so that's good, man. I'm glad you had the courage to go through with it. I'm glad you had the courage to do it. But yeah, I'm not gonna be too long because I know again it's first day and you all probably have organization tasks that you want to do. You want to put together your battle plan for the strong. If you didn't do it sixth day, you probably want to do it at least today. Put together that battle plan and make sure that you know you're seeing your goals through because I'm sure that you all have an every 7 day type of battle plan list that you work on. P. Shannon, you know, so I'm sure that's present. So I don't want to fill up too much of your time and take away from, you know, I know you definitely want to make sure your house is clean or your room is clean. Peace, Andrea Adams. Peace, peace, peace. It's good to see you, Andrea, too. You know, I know you've been around for a minute, you know, but you know, I haven't talked to you anything in a while. So it's good to see you still on and moving. And give thanks, Kashia. 999. There's a song. No, don't worry about it. Peace, Sister Manera. Good dawning. But yeah, give thanks for that. Give thanks for that. I really do appreciate that. I got some ideas of what I want to do. You know, I was thinking about even doing a vote. You know, the weather is changing right now, so it's getting cooler, especially up north. You know, it's you know like kind of like in the 50s now. It's getting much cooler, and you know, I've always had kind of a concern. Peace, K Boogie. I had a concern about um, when they started all this sheltering in stuff, especially for a lot of people like in California and Florida, where you have like you know really high homeless populations. In New York City, of course, we do as well. But the whole sheltering in and like, what are you sheltering in? Like in a tent, like or a cardboard box? Like, how am I sheltering in? You know, so I know you. I know you gave me the super chats, but I think I might do a poll on it because on YouTube you could do polls now. I'm thinking about maybe doing like a food, taking the super chat money, and doing some food for folks and making some food. You know what I mean? And handing them out. I used to do that a lot, like just off the fly. Like some days, like I would just like buy like a bunch of bread and stuff and just like make some sandwiches or whatever, and go down to Grand Central in the city. Or sometimes I go to Penn Station in Newark and just hand out food and like hygiene products, soap, toothpaste, razors, stuff like that. So I'm gonna probably do a poll, you know, because YouTube has a poll and see, you know, maybe I'll do that with the super chat money. I told you I wasn't gonna spend it on myself. You know, I'm very appreciative though. I'm considering it for me, so the spirit of it's for me. I'm That's how I'm taking it. But you know, I think I'd like to do something. Yeah, man, for the human family that's shelterless, man. You know, it's getting cooler, and you know, there's different concerns that come with that cold weather and stuff like that. And this North America is not very kind to people who are shelterless, man. I mean, that could be a whole nother segment. I don't want to. We're empowering today, man. So we're gonna keep it upful and you know and things like that. But yeah, I'll probably do a poll. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's gonna be between because that's really the only thing I want to do. But I'll come up with some other choices or whatever. But that's really the main thing I'd like to do. Maybe just make some food. Just take like a day and just make up a bunch of meal kits myself, and then you know put some other hygiene products because there's enough. Y'all blessed me so beautifully, man. There's enough that I could, you know, yeah, do like a nice package or whatever. All right. Anyway, so 9:20, Commander Day 9:20, right? So here we are. You know, um, you know, there was something, and I'm thinking about Isaiah, and I think really, oh, give thanks, Ricochet. I mean, you already did contribute because I believe you did throw a super chat in there. You know what I mean? So it's not a, you know what I mean? So I mean, give thanks if you want to, but it's not a new kind of initiative. That's what I wanted to do with the super chats. You know what I mean? If that's what you call them, I'm calling them super chats. I don't know if there's another cool name. Oh, give thanks, Juanisha. Appreciate that. From 4:30 a.m. on the West Coast. You know, yeah, it is a blessing to be a blessing to others, man. You know, that's the thing. Like when you align yourself with like the patterns, the divine patterns, then you can expect the divine patterns. You know, a lot of people have like trouble conceptualizing that because sometimes they're so married and stuck in their own feelings. But it's just like, you know, if you want justice, you have to give justice. Like that's just an example, right? So let's say if somebody did something dirty to you, or they did something that caused you to choose the reaction of being hurt, and you choose in that moment to take away your love from them, and they're supposed to have your love. Not everybody is supposed to have your love, but they're supposed to actually have your love, and you choose to take it away from them. Then now what happens is that you're blocking the funnel of justice in your life, right? So then you, whatever you do, whether you affirm, pray, ritualize to the heavens, because you want things to flow into your life. You want love to flow into your life. You want fairness and justice to flow into your life. You've done it with family. Why'd you gotta? I hear you. Me too. I've been there too. You know, um, but you want those things to flow into your life, and then you're like, it's just not really happening because you've stopped the flow. You know, so you know, if you wanted, there was a nah, I don't want to get into that. But anyway, but the thing about it is that you just have to, you know, I don't want to get into a story because that's not really what it's about. But yeah, you know, like you said, it's a blessing to be a blessing other. Oh, give thanks, Christian. You know, got the pounds. You got the pounds coming in. Yeah, man. You know, so if we go, because y'all are part of the ritual. Peace, Fase. If we go and we go feed some people who could use it, and get them some hygiene products, because hygiene is important when you're shelterless. You know what I mean? I don't personally have that testimony. You know, I've never really been shelterless by, you know, I have been, but by choice. You know, by choice and by pride. But I always had somewhere I could go if I wanted to. You know, I always had friends I could go stay with, or family even, and things like that. You know, so I can't necessarily say I understand what it truly means to be homeless, but it's something that I think is a terrible thing. And peace, brother Vermont. And I think it's a terrible thing in this place that it's homes are so expensive, you know, and when they don't really need to be. You know, and sometimes that's because of what we want our standards to be. Sometimes that's the issue. But yeah, I think too much energy is put towards just basic living. Where am I going to sleep? How am I going to eat? And those are not difficult things because nature provides for all of that anyway. I mean, just to keep it real, if you have a set of tools, you can you can eat. Peace, Levette. If you have a set of tools, you can eat and have shelter, depending on, you know, your level of education. You know, you can chop up some wood, and make a shelter. I mean, earth bag homes. You know, there's so many different things you could do with the earth itself, and then you can garden, you can hunt. If you want to eat meat, you can fish. You know, like, I don't know. I'm going. Peace, Hassan. Peace, Hassan. Hassan Chop. You know, peace, Baba Utu. Peace, change. Change. Peace, Alicia. You know, yeah. Got Florida all up in the building. You know, but yeah, I don't want to get off onto the homeless thing a little bit too much because, you know, that's my thing. You know what I mean? That's not, you know, it's whatever. However you feel about it is how you feel about it. But yeah, I just, they do people dirty here, man. When it comes to the expectations they implant in people's minds as to how what living actually is. You know what I mean? And how a person is supposed to live, and the standards of living. You know. But anyway, it is what it is. Oh, you went back up top? Oh, okay. All right. Well, you in Pete, but you still Florida, you know. So you still Florida. So that was why you try to claim PA. You Florida, you know, as you so proudly let everyone know. But Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, kind of. I was Isaiah was saying that he was chopping. He's an Anu brother. He's in the thing that he was chopping his locks yesterday, and it made me think about something. I'm like I recognize and I'm appreciative of all the divine um, signs. And I don't. It allows us to kind of go into a certain flow and pull when we need to pull. But I wanted to speak about, as I spoke about encouraging yesterday, being able to encourage yourself. Not yesterday, but a couple of days ago. But being able to encourage yourself towards silence, knowing that it's okay to be silent, knowing that it's okay to pause. And a lot of times that takes a level of courage. It's doesn't take courage to run your mouth, or to hit somebody or to go off. Half the time that's a coward's way, but there's another aspect of courage that's really important. And Isaiah cutting his locks kind of made me think about it. Oh, give thanks, Alex. Give thanks, Plant OG. Yeah, yeah. I'm almost feeling like this is the poll because I started talking about it, and I mean, I'll still put the poll up to be fair, because I don't want to just do what I want to do. It's y'all, y'all gave it, so you know. But I think I kind of think I already know. I'm gonna make some food and buy some products and stuff. But you know, well, I'll still do the poll, even if y'all don't want to do it. I think I'm still gonna do it anyway, man, because it's getting cool. It's getting cool out, man. And I know people, especially with this artificial virus they got floating around. And the way they snatching people up off the street. To grab their body parts and stuff like that, man. However, you can help people to strengthen them, fortify them, to get up off that concrete. Is a good thing. All these empty houses in America, but people can't really even go and squat in them because then they, might end up getting picked up by, Popo, and now you sitting in jail when you was just trying to get in from the rain. So, you know, we'll do what we can, right? But that courage piece that I'm speaking about is it's such a tricky thing because a lot of times people don't make certain moves and don't go to certain plateaus in their life because of the fact that they're full of fear. And sometimes it's hard to imagine that you don't wait till your fear subsides until you make a move. You make a move, you recognize the fear and you say, all right, well, I'm still, yeah, let's go. I'm still doing it anyway. So fear is not something that should necessarily stop you from doing something, but the ability to travel and still have the fear right next to you is what makes you courageous. And a lot of times for people where the struggle gets really real, is when we have a fear based upon the misconceptions that we have of ourselves. So like for instance, you have certain people who are afraid to commit themselves. Peace, Omega. You know, you have people who, that's Jersey, that's South Jersey. I know. People always ask, "Where you at, Chief?" And I don't tell you, but I'm shouting out where everybody is. I guess I shouldn't do that. That's not fair, right? Because I don't like to, you know, give my position away. So I you know, but but yeah, but I just know where everybody lives. You know, but anyway, a lot of times we're committed to certain misconceptions, like like I said, like relationships. We kind of always move with this perpetual dismal attitude and this perpetual pessimism based off of fear because maybe we've been in situations before they didn't work out, or we chose to be hurt, or we chose to be angered by the outcome of a particular relationship or whatever. And so now we're just like, well, I'm probably never going to meet anybody. They're just going to leave anyway, or I'm just not going to put myself out there for someone to leave me or someone to hurt me. These are all the different kind of statements that people tend to make. And these are all fear induced, right? Like if you look at even like I was reading some work in the Tibetan Book of the Dead recently. Just that's a book I like to read and reread. I just piece information. It just I don't know. It's just a book I like. So, certain books you read or whatever, they just feed you in a good way. So is a life changer. Oh, give thanks, man. I'm glad that book changed your life. You're more than welcome, brother Alex. More than welcome. Um, if if Alex, if you are a brother, excuse me if you're not. You know, I know a woman named Alex. That's what I'm asking. But and I know a man named Alex. you know, but anyway, so yeah, I was reading something in it, and I noticed a consistency. That's why I tend to like to read so many different structures, so many different systems. I like to look for those truthful threads. And like I tell you, like say you, I say you. Um, when you find the detours from certain ideas and certain concepts, that's when you found the lie of the book. Peace, Antonio. That's when you found the lie of that particular book, because people who have divine experiences all come back saying the same thing. They just say it from different angles, right? And not every system is divine. So don't I don't want you to think that any book you pick up and grab is going to lead you to heaven. You know, um, but there's one consistent thing that I've always noticed about certain divine books is that whenever there's an edict put forth telling someone not to be fearful, there's always a statement that follows right behind it. And it's always because I am here, or because I am with you, or because you walk with, or because I have sent. I've always noticed that. Fear not, because, boom. And it's always related to something is with someone. Now, whether it's because I am your God and I am with you, or because I have sent this with you, or because on your left and your right you have the cherubim of this. But there's always a sense of like you don't need to fear because you're never alone, right? Um, and you can, I'm telling you, just you can test that if you want. You look across the Quran, you look across the Bhagavad Gita, the Book of the Dead, the Pert Imheru, the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Like you're gonna see it consistently. Whenever there's a warning, an admonition not to fear, is because I'm right here, right? So there's always these charges like fear may be there, but go through it because I'm here, right? Um, and sometimes, like I said, we find ourselves betrothed, or we find ourselves married to our fear. And, I think about sometimes the elaborate ways or the dramatic ways that people decide they want to go through breakups. You know, and now in the age of social media, people love to post a bunch of stupid things on social media after there's a break or there's a cut. I'm doing me. I'm whatever stupid things people say. Sometimes you got to just let it go, just breathe it out. All kind of dumb stuff that never really tell the story, but allow you to feel, peace, Henry. Allow you to feel some level of vindication publicly, or maybe it allows you to say something that you maybe didn't have the clear thoughts to say at the time. And what I've found over the years is that people are not as dramatic when it comes to releasing their fear partner, right? So they create these long-standing relationships with fear, and that partner rules over them. And sometimes it causes insecurity. Sometimes it causes, mistrust, poor self definition, poor self reflection, poor self representation, poor self image, all because they're married to fear. And it's a real simple thing, man. Sometimes you have to just, you have to break up with fear. Like you have to see fear as an actual spouse, like for real. And I know it sounds a little kooky to some of y'all, but sometimes you got to do kooky things to get out of kooky situations, and you have to actually like almost sometimes, and I'm not even saying almost because truthfully, we do this in rituals all the time, but we just call it different things. We'll say, write a letter, and I want you to write a letter, and then you're gonna dip it in this, and then you're going to burn it over this, and then you're going to take the ashes and you're going to spread them over here, right? Or we could just say, why don't you write your fears and your insecurities and your mistrust and all those different senses that you have that hold you back? Why don't you write them a Dear John letter? Write them a Dear John letter and break up with them, right? So you could say it like that, and give thanks, Kashia. You know how they are, though. You could say it like that, and people will be like, what? That sounds like some, just some real dime store psychology stuff. Or you could say, we're going to do a ritual. I want you to get some papyrus paper, and, you're going to get some pokeberries. We're going to use that for the ink, and you're going to sharpen a piece of wood, but it's got to be Hollywood, and you're going to use the Hollywood, and you're going to write this, and you're going to send that spirit back where it came from. It's actually the same thing. But the thing is, when you go through all those extra steps, you really feel like this is, you're able to really conceptualize the fear and to really kind of visualize it and then release it in that way. But it's actually the same thing. But like I say often, and I know I'm giving away some secret, but we've evolved beyond that. At least I hope y'all have. Evolved beyond like very base and simple rituals. But like I say often that this spiritual work is 20% divination, figuring out what the problem is, and as you get older and you get more advanced, that number comes down, and it's 80% psychology. How do I get this through to this person? Because some people have long-standing relationships with their dysfunction, and you can do all the rituals in the world, you can do all the divinations in the world, but their spouse is going to be a louder voice in their ear. I deal with that with people every single day. Every single day. You could tell them till they're blue in the face, and there's some things you can't tell them because they're nowhere near ready to receive it. And if you finally get to the point sometimes where you're like, you know what, the heck with it, I'm just going to say it. Usually they run away. I think I said that on a segment the other day. When you finally do tell them, this is what really has been going on, this is what you've been doing, they run. And sometimes you want them to run, so you don't. By then you don't care. Sometimes it's like, whatever, just take your butt on, because I've been ready for you to leave. You're tiring, you're depleting. So there's a concept there of impatience. There's a concept there of fear, that we don't really have faith in our consciousness. And that's what a lot of that is, not really having faith in your consciousness. We can devote and commit so much of our energy and our time to activities and conduct that are based around our fears, right? I'm sorry, there's a woman that I see. She said good dawning to me earlier, because I've been out since since the sun has not been out. And I saw her the other day too. She's kind of hunched over a little bit. She's an older, much older woman, and she's going through the garbage cans. So, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem. She could just be a hustler. Or maybe she needs one of those food packages that I was talking about. But I see her from time to time, and she always says every time I see her, I have my headphones on, so I always say good dawning, and then she'll say good morning, and then a couple of seconds later she says something that I can never hear because I got the headphones on, but she does it every time, and she like kind of laughs, so I know she's saying like, I don't even know what she says, but she always continues the conversation a little bit, and then I always just say, I know, right? I always give her the same response. I did it this morning when I saw her. She said something, I didn't really hear it, and I just, yeah, because that kind of fits with, it works with everything, you know what I mean? But she's now going through the gut. So if I see her tomorrow when I do the command of day, I'm gonna take the headphones off when I see her walking. I'm gonna hear what she's actually been saying. She might be like, I'm hungry, She could be like that. I'm hungry, I'm out here, Yeah, hey, that's how it is. So I gotta make sure now that I see her going through the garden, I was meant to see that just now. I was meant to see that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't hear you response. Universal. Especially when you get older, you could just make noises. Hey, hey. That's what all old heads do. When they don't know what to say. That's how it gets too when you get older and you see women and you don't. When you're younger, you quick with your game, but when you get older, sometimes you don't want. Sometimes you don't really even want the headache. You're half scared, half turned on. You know what I mean? So you just make noises. You see a woman walk by, hey, hey, whoa, 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 hey, hey. You just do that. You know what I mean? Hey, 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 hey. Because you don't really, your mind doesn't work as quick. You ain't got nothing smooth to say, whatever. So you know what I mean? You just start making noises. But yeah, tomorrow I bet I'll see her again tomorrow. Cause every day when I'm walking to go do the command of days, I see her either when I'm going or when I'm coming. And I usually like I, I like to listen to music in the dawning, so I'm gonna listen out. But anyway, I know that was a little bit of distraction. Yeah, Fat Albert, hey, 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 lay some treats on us. But yeah, I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad I saw that. So I'm gonna talk to her tomorrow. You know, and she's always by herself. Maybe it'd just be good to talk to her. Maybe I'll walk with her. Yeah, might do that. I don't want to make a new friend because then every time then you see him, you got to say hi and everything. But I don't know. I feel like I need to walk with her a little bit. Maybe talk with her, see what her situation is, or maybe she's just a hustler. She's just out getting the money in the garbage. And who knows? She could be recycling. But anyway, um, so yeah, being married to those fear bodies. That's what I'm saying. You know, it keeps us from moving forward a lot of times and from continuing that cycle of justice that I was talking about earlier. Um, you know, we want to move when all concern has been dissipated, but we're unwilling to break up with the actual entities that are fueling and stimulating the concern. So you don't want to write a Dear John letter to your fear. Like you don't want to say, listen, we've had our time together. Peace, Talisha. We've had our time together, and you know, it's been rough. You've lied to me. You haven't been what you said you were gonna be. Fear, and I'm releasing you now. I release you. We got to do one of those. But you probably don't know the reference, but I'm releasing you, and I know you're gonna come back around. I know you're gonna come back knocking, on my door. I know you're gonna come back around, but I'm gonna be hitting my knocking on my phone. Let me not do that. I'll break it. Um, but just know that if you come back knocking on my door, I got two bodyguards that are gonna face you. You know, faith and knowing, right? That was a good. Yeah, that's a good little. I think I'm gonna have to remember. That's a good little example. Yeah, I'm freestyling here, but I could use that for. That's a good lesson to teach children. You know, always face fear with faith and knowing. Peace Aquia. California again. I started a little late for you California people, Aquia, even though you know, I thought maybe it might help you out a little bit. Uh, there I go again, shouting out people's locations. I'm sorry, I just said I wasn't gonna do that. You know, um, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna face you with when you try to come back into my life, because I know you're gonna try to come back. I know you need me to eat. You know, so um, a lot of times it's difficult to break up with those fears, man, and those fears they're always internal, but those are the things that keep us from doing things like cutting our locks, like Brother Isaiah, or exploring new relationships, new love relationships, new friendships. Moving. A lot of times people hate where they live, but they're just afraid to go in. Well, I don't know anybody over here, and I don't know what I'm going to do over here. I don't know what I'm going to do over there, because they have that marriage with fear, and they haven't broken up with fear, and they kind of refuse to. And sometimes there's also like a frustration because your blockages are based upon your impatience. Like people come into higher awareness and come into consciousness, excuse me, and they make these assumptions that now all of a sudden that I've come into this, um, everything's gonna work out, and that's just not that's just not how it works. In fact, you're gonna find when you come into this that a lot of things are gonna break down. You know, one of the first things that break down are the relationships with your family. You know, they're not going to understand what you're doing, or why you're doing it. What's the point? Is it really that serious? Why are you taking it so serious? You know, things like that. Or I was just joking around your shrine. Like, what's the big deal? Come on, you know, we just play like that. You know, and things like that. And you start to find that some of those relationships will break down, and sometimes people then develop a resentment or a bitterness towards those choices of consciousness, towards those choices of awareness, because of what they see falling apart in their life. And the thing is like you got to give it a chance. You know, who sung? It was the Otis Redding, you know, or Jackie Wilson. Try a little tenderness. You know, you gotta take your time sometimes, because one of the things that we don't want to ever be honest about or be real with ourselves about is this: how many chances did you give your stupidity? Like, how many chances did you give your dysfunction? How many chances did you give your addictions? How many chances did you give your fear? Your Otis Redding, okay, thank you, Kashia. You know, yeah, you know, like, how many chances, how much time, how many years did you give your fear? You know, how many years did you give your egoic nature? How many years did you give your stubbornness? And then you come into conscious awareness, and you give it 10 to 15 days. I don't know, you know, when I did this, but I don't know. I don't know if this is working, because I still feel like this, and I feel, and I. It's always I, right? So you unwilling to give that any time, but what if you gave it the equal amount of time that you gave your dysfunction? For some people, like, they've been walking in dysfunction for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. But they but they won't give the right thing the same amount of time. You see that sometimes with food. You've been eating garbage all your life, and you won't even give healthy food a month. Not even a month. Or, you know, you've been sitting on the sofa, you know, your entire life, and, like, your muscles have total amnesia. Like, you know, you have no muscle memory at all. So there is no snapback for you, because you never were there to be. I was gonna say 50 years. Sometimes it's 50 years. You know, there's no snapback, because there's no place to go back to. So it's all a journey forward. You've been a couch potato for 35 years. Your body is total mush, and you go to work out, and after 3 days you like, yeah, you know, something didn't feel right. My heart was pounding too much, and I couldn't breathe, and I just kept sweating, and my body is sore all over. You know, yeah. That's what happens when you're building up a big pile of mush. And you're trying to dig through it and find some muscle fibers. You know, you're gonna feel a little different. You know, right, the uncomfortable must happen. But sometimes we're unwilling to give the right thing the same amount of time that we give the wrong thing, you know, and we carry that wrong thing wherever we go. So even when we go into different strains of consciousness and different experiences that could be great, we bring that demon of fear that we're still married to into everywhere, and then it controls every choice that we make. You know, that's when you reach down to your ankles and pick up your common sense. Yeah, exactly. You reach down to your ankles, or the soul. You reach down into the soles of your feet, or the soles of your body, however you want to look at it, and you pull yourself up by that. But, you know, you can't do that when you have a spouse that's telling you something else. See, that's the thing. You know, who you choose to marry is a critical decision, physically and spiritually. If you choose to be married to fear, it will dictate what's going to happen for your entire life until you choose to divorce from it. You know, and the same thing with your physical spouse. Your physical spouse, that choice that you make, and many of us make very poor choices in our lovers. Let's be honest. Many of us don't know how to choose a lover. No one ever taught us, and we chose lovers at an age when we didn't know how to even choose the right fabrics to put on our body. Your pain does release power. Exactly, Deidre. Um, but that's when you're not married to fear, pain releases power. When you're married to fear, pain confirms what you already expected. One of the things I speak to you about sometimes is hope, and how like I don't really use the word hope, you know, because of the anxiety that's related to hope. But it doesn't mean that hope is a bad word. Just like I don't really use the word belief, but it doesn't mean that belief is a bad word. There's a place for hope and there's a place for belief. Hope is should only be used in the context when you're always expecting good things. That should be hope, right? Now, why would I expect good things? Because through faith and knowledge, I've sowed into the karma of good things. So I'm expecting good things. Now, I could say I'm expecting good things, or I could use the word hope. Me, I would rather not use the word hope because it gets twisted real quick. It gets misconstrued. You start using words like hope, and then people get real religious on you. That's where those invisible sky gods come from. You know, invisible gods are not just religious entities that people commit themselves to that they don't understand. I mean, it's still a religious entity, but a lot of times your invisible gods are your hope, are your belief, and we get locked into that kind of um, theocratic kind of belief where everything is a belief. I believe in God. I believe in faith. I believe in hope. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. And belief creates those spookisms. They create those spook gods. So for me, being an original man, I know that I can stand on the foundations of knowledge. So I don't really deal with belief too much, and hope I don't really need, because I know if I sold into something good, or I know if I sold into something bad. I'm using good and bad, just for reference. Um, so yeah, pain can release power, but sometimes pain just confirms the pessimism that we've already had based off of our own fears. Our fear partner is always, this isn't going to work, that isn't going to work. But if you're sowing into the right things, and you've divorced from that pain partner, then now you are married to hope. So you can be married to fear, you can be married to hope. And the marriage to fear is like, it's going to work out, it's going to be good. Now, how do you know it's going to be good? Because it's always good for me. How do you know it's always good for me? Because of what I sown into. I had somebody say that to me not long ago. A very wicked person. Oh, doesn't matter if this happens because things tend to work out for me. This is a person whose life is in the dumps. Hey, cousin Kobe, what's up? Peace, bro. I was actually, that's so funny, man. Long story, but I texted E the other day to see how he was doing. We had a nice conversation, and I meant to text you, but what was that? Yeah. Peace, peace, peace. It's good to see you. I was thinking about you, man. But I'm terrible with the communication. It'd be years. Didn't we speak a month ago? Nah, that was like 2008. But yeah, man. So being able to marry yourself to the faithful expectations of what you sowed in, now that means you got to be sowing into something. You got to sow into something. And, so it's not just a spookism kind of thing where, you know, um, you start to claim things. You find that with people who, I'm going to put this, I got to say this to get around the algorithm. Um, there's certain groups of people in the world who, when you say their names, the J people, it's like, this is how I got banned on IG. I'm still banned today for messing around with these people. Well, hey, it is what it is. Maybe they'll let me out of that little jail eventually. But now I'm just kind of like done with IG. I'm like, what? F y'all. You know what I mean? You don't break up with me, I break up with you. So screw IG. But I was talking about this with a friend the other day. So let's use the term Isis, Ra, and El. We're gonna use that. Now, if you put Isis, Ra, and El, think about if you combine those together, what words you get. I'm gonna say it like that, right? And a friend of mine, we were talking about it the other day. He was like, yeah, I was on my job, And this guy was like, peace, 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 Baba Ra. This guy was like, yeah, we need to pray for Isis, Ra, and El. Now think of, again, put Isis, Ra, and El together. Isis, Ra, El, right? And he was like, oh, brother, he's like, yeah, I didn't want to hear that. I was like, yeah, it's so funny when people say that because they assume, or not, the implication is given to us is that when a person says they're a J person, that they immediately are delivered from dysfunction. Like every other, and this person is a Christian who I was talking about. So it's like every other person has to go and get saved and get baptized and then live right and all of that. Peace, peace, Mama Marva. Every other person has to do that. But this group of people just have it automatically. So then the assumption is that whatever they do is divine because they are, I'm just laughing because it's like, well, you only really been claiming that since 1948. So we're talking about an ancient people that that you ain't, you know. Come on, bro, don't restrict me. Yeah, you too. Don't do me dirty. I'm just telling the truth, you know. So yeah, I'm trying to skip around that algorithm, you know. But it's just kind of interesting. These people have sown. They've sown a harvest that's coming back on them. But there should be no expectation for good because what they've sown into has not been good. But you know, we have already been taught that they're you know they're the ones who got chose. Let's say it that way. And they are Isis, Ra, and El, and they're J's all day, so they don't have to do anything, right? And sometimes that kind of ridiculous, non-spiritual, non-ancient, non-African mentality spills over to us, and we feel like we need not do anything once we claim a certain thing. Well, I'm conscious, I'm woke. So now that means I don't have to sow into any goodness. I don't have to sow, peace, Sherelle. I don't have to sow into anything that I can harvest later. So my hope and my expectation is all wound up into the idea of being woke or being conscious, or whatever term you feel like using. And good works begot good works. Disrespect begots disrespect. And you got to sometimes step out of that delusion. And yeah, Ra, there's a lot with that one. Not only was it shorter, oh man, there's a lot with that one. It wasn't really the way it was given to you. And we were in the middle of that. Those of us who look like this, we were the first victims of that. They don't, but somehow we didn't make it into the movies for some strange reason. We didn't make it into the movies or into the museums about that. Yeah, it's a can of worms. It's not a can of worms I'm scared of opening, but I just don't feel like having I ain't got that many subscribers anyway, but I don't feel like having to start over with a new channel, you know. So there's a time and place, and when you're in somebody else's backyard, you got to respect that. You know what I mean? And I respect the jokes. Everybody always complains about what you can't do on these free platforms, but build your own. Like, you're in somebody else's backyard, and then even once you build your own, you're still going to be on someone else's servers, most likely. So at the end of the day, just learn to link up with each other, give each other a hug, sit down, have a meal, and have some discussions after dinner around a campfire. You can talk however you want when you're on your own land. You can talk all the mess you want and break down all the truth you want, but as long as you're in somebody else's matrix, the reality is anything you're talking about is going to be matrix induced anyway. So it really is not going to be true. That was always the really deep thing about when Neo decided to exit the matrix and take the red pill. He made the decision while he was inside of the matrix. So was it really a pure decision? No. You can't make a decision to leave something when you're inside of that very thing, and that very thing is controlling your multiple choices. You see, so when I say, yeah, we're gonna get free, we're gonna get some land, we're gonna, well, the matrix tells me that getting land and growing my own food is what freedom is. So I really can't even define it inside of the matrix. We just do the best we can. We just do the best we can. But yeah, that's why we gotta be around each other. We gotta be around each other physically. It's not the digital thing is cool for a little bit of organizing, but we gotta be around each other, man. Because once you get around each other and you get primitive, you start playing drums, doing music, freestyling. That's something I used to teach music years ago, and I used to always have my students. Well, it was actually audio, like audio engineering, and I used to have my students begin every class with what I call freestyle cipher. They used to have to stand in a circle, and we would throw a word out to each other, and then we just have to freestyle on it, right? Very primitive, in a circle, So we starting with equality, and then we would go to the software and to the microphones and start recording or doing whatever we were doing, But you need that primitive experience to start to see what you were like when you were still primal. You need that, and a lot of us, we have gotten away from that. So even when we're speaking about freedom or liberation, it's not based on primal values of freedom or liberation. It's based on what they already told you. They already knew you were going to want to get free. They already knew that. The archons, those old ancient archons, and they wrote books about what it looks like. They wrote philosophy books about what freedom really looks like. So that's all you really strive for. So a lot of times we say, oh, you want to be free, you got to have economic and financial freedom. That's not true. That's not true, you know. But anyway, so yeah, just married to certain things that we're refusing to divorce from. Has this marriage been working out? Like I said, the person who said it to me, I'm looking at him like, I mean, no disrespect to anyone, but the person like has nothing. Doesn't have a good relationship with their children, has no assets, no finances, no relationship, no real friends, nothing, right? So things have not been working out for you. And sometimes it's those demons that we're married to. It's like when you have those friends, or like, I've been in situations where like women I didn't want to be involved with had those friends that always told them that I wanted to be involved with them. Like they may see me somewhere and I'll just kind of like brush them off. And, they got those friends that be like, he still love you. He still love you. Come on, and it's like, and they said, you think so, girl? Yeah, you right, girl. You right. You right. Because the way he pushed me off him, you right. Because he did look back after I fell against the wall. You right when I tried to hug him. Yeah, I think you right, girl. So it's like some of us got those in our heads. Stuff don't be working out for us, and we still be on some, that voice in the head be like, now you the top rapper on the East Coast. It don't matter that you 54 years old. You still the top rapper. You're going to get a deal. You just got to keep working with your tools, keep working what you got. That. A lot of us have those, and it's because of what we're married to. And you got to write those demons a Dear John letter, man. And whether you need to do it in ritualistic fashion and put on all white, put on all black, light a fire, or just do it. Yeah, Cove, you know, you know. There's a guy, man. I wish I could remember his name. Actually, I think he's kind of cool though. He's on it, man. I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna put the link up. But he does like he's an old head trying to rap. And he's not old. He's probably in his, I'm gonna assume maybe 40s. He's old enough, right? But he's probably around in his 40s, and you could be in your 40s and rhyme. Don't get me wrong. You be in your 60s and rhyme. I mean, go online, listen to There's an interview with Grandmaster Caz, and he's at a radio station and he's rhyming, and you'll see like, okay, and Grandmaster Caz is 60 plus. you could see like, okay, when you got a talent, you got a talent. Period. Just shut up. Sonia Sanchez can spit. Maya Angelou was still spitting until she transitioned. So being witty and having a mastery over words and things like that, there's no age limit to that, you know. So I mean that's encouragement for all of you, you know. But at the same time, they were nice since they were young, you know. So the thing is, you know, waking up one day and like, oh, I'm 50, I think I'm gonna be a rapper, you know. That I don't know, it may work for you. Who knows? Work for Killer Mike, you know, it might work for you. But um, he's a old, he not an old head, but you know he's considered an old head. But he rhymes and he's like he. Let's just say he has an era that probably things were really working out for him, and he's not trying to leave that era, you know, and and he's confidently not trying to leave that era. He's confident, you know. I had a friend like that. He's doing really great today. He used to have a drug issue back in the days, and he used to come in my barbershop all the time. I'm not gonna say, I almost said his name, but you know, he used to come through and like he'd be a little messed up sometimes. So I used to always cut his hair for free. You know what I mean? And just cause, you know, because people back in the days he was, you know, he used to pedal. He used to pedal drugs and he ended up getting high off his own supply. But everybody in the hood knew him or whatever. But I actually helped him get into rehab. Like, you know, like nobody knows. You know, like y'all know, but y'all don't know who it is, right? So back in the days, I actually helped him get cleaned up, man. And as he was starting to get cleaned up, he was starting to feel a lot better about himself, right? Because he used to drink real heavy. He stopped drinking and everything, and now he's like working with. Let me. He has a good job. I'm gonna say that because some of you know the town where I'm from, and you might be able to put some things together. But he's doing well. You know, he's got some things going on for himself, and he used to come in and like, you know, he started getting a little bit of money, whatever, and he was trying to bring it back to back when things was popping, man. And I remember he asked me to borrow some money because he wanted to get some music. He was like, you know, music helps me. So I'm like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I want my bread back, you know what I mean? So he comes back from the Ave with these big Arnold Drummond headphones. And it was the kind of headphones, I don't know where he found these. It was the kind of headphones where the whole radio and everything was in the headphones. And it had the antenna and everything. And he comes back and he's like doing the old head dance like that. You know, they always got to clap first. Just like old aunties, they got to snap their fingers. Ooh, that's my jam. They always got, if they don't snap, they dance off beat. That's how it is when you get old. You got to clap first, then you move. Oh, right? So he had these crazy old school headphones. And he came in and he had this fake Gucci shirt on. Like, and it's like it was a whole short set, but it was a fake Gucci short set, right? And and his socks was all pulled up, like up to his knees. Oh man, I remember this day he came into the shop. He was so proud. He's like, yo, hook me up, line me up, baby. Line me up. You know what I mean? Hook me up. You know what I'm saying? And just crazy, like old school and just crazy corny. What did he have? I think he had some Spot Builts on. Y'all probably don't remember Spot Built sneakers. They were either Spot Builts or Avias. I think they were Spot Builts though. And big giant high top sneakers, big socks with the stripes pulled up. Now y'all do that, but back then that was like super corny, like pulling your socks up with stripes. And because it's like it was yesterday. The socks were yellow and green. It was a cream Gucci short set with a green and yellow Gucci thing. And he had these big headphones. You know what I mean? And he wanted to get cut up. He was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hook me up, whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Because they was having back in the days, Heavy D used to do this Nothing But Love cookout where we lived every year. It was like a free cookout. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be at the hook. It's gonna be a lot of fly honeys at the cookout. crazy old school terms, fly honeys, you know what I mean? Like honey dips. I'm like, all right, yeah. But I mean, I was just happy for him because he cleaned up. I was like, we could work on your fashion, your egregious fashion trespasses later. I'm like, we could clean that up. And them headphones, like, where did you find those? They actually had an antenna on them. I'm like, where did you get that? you know, but yeah, my man, he was a good brother. He was a real good brother, man, and he had the courage to push past that, you know, his challenges, man, and of course, he was trying to recapture what was. Now he like I saw him recently and like he looks he looked normal enough, you know what I'm saying? But he's still on that like Scooby Doo Bop Wop, like he's still old school, you know what I'm saying? Like he's still, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, he's still old school. But but hey, you need every neighborhood has that dude or whatever. But I was proud of him for being able to push back, and he was fearful because he was like, yo, you know what I mean? That's everybody used to call me. He was like, yo, you, like, I don't know, man. He was like, I've been in the rehab so many times, man. I feel like I could start my own rehab. And I was like, maybe that's what you do need to do. Maybe you do need to start your own rehab, right? Um, and he was considerably older than me, you know what I mean? So, um, I know that took a lot for him to listen to me. What do I know? I've never had a drug issue. You know, yeah, I've never had a drug issue, and I've just never been down the roads that he been through, and but he would at his age, and I'm thinking, trying to think of his age. I don't remember. This is so long. It's probably like 25 years ago. Um, I don't remember. He might have been the age I am now. I don't know, but he was old head. Um, but yeah, I don't remember his age. But just to be able to listen to a younger guy and express like, yeah, I have some fears, right? So this is what he did. He was like, yo, I know you mess with the beats and everything. You know what I mean? You out there with Rough Riders doing the music and all of that. And he was like, yo, I rhyme, right? And I'm like, just let me just stop you, right? Like stop. Just he was like, no, I'm saying for real. So, as he was always real loud, like no inside voice, But that's how it is. When you in the hood and you're around people who you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're that's one of the things about being in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, it's that comfortability. Everybody here I know, especially when you're an older head. Like I remember when you were born and this and that. Even if I am out here kind of messed up, y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me. Like y'all will buy me a sandwich, maybe get me a loose cigarette, whatever. Like y'all gonna take care of me or help me get into rehab, and get my life cleaned up or whatever. And I had rented him a room. A good friend of mine, he had a spot, and I worked out something with him and rented him a room and everything. You know, so he spit this rhyme for me. Long story short. And he was like, yo, all right, so I ain't got no music on me right now, but what I want you to do is I want you to picture, what was the song? Love Hangover. He was like, yo, Diana Ross, Love Hangover? He was like, yeah, picture it to that beat. I'm like, old ass, like rhyming to Diana Ross, But I was like, all right, I'm picturing it in my head. He was like, all right. And then he spit his rhyme. And he was like, yo, one day I was in the line at at welfare. And I was waiting so long in that line that I ended up writing a whole rhyme in my head. So I said, listen, brother, you got a talent, man. Like you're good at that. You're good. Like a lot of people couldn't do that, and it was so long ago and you still remember it. So I was like, hold on to that. Hold on to that as you're moving through, recognize that you have something. Whether it's the ability to speak, the ability to come up with thoughts or whatever, but you're not just that drug, and we had a good talk, man. I remember we were in my shop to maybe like 4 a.m. I remember I started hearing like the garbage moving. The wind is hitting. Mother Oye. Let me stop. That's messed up. But yeah, so the wind is hitting real hard. So yeah, so we were in the that wasn't Oya. We not gonna do that. I know some people do that when the wind blow, but we ain't gonna do that. Mother Oya, and don't even say it right. See, Mama Oye out here. But yeah, that was just the and the dogs barking. But nah, that's just because I had my thing propped up funny. But and the wind is blowing real hard now that I'm talking. But yeah, like I told him, and we not gonna call that a sign. Everything ain't a sign. It's just the wind is blowing. But I was like, yeah, man, hold on to that. Like, hold on to that, knowing that you're able to create. You still can create. You know that was the whole science. Like when Haru and Set fought, and because a lot of people don't tell that story. You know, Set lost one of his testicles in one of those fights. You know, Haru lost his left eye. You know, ripped out that left eye, and it was, you know, of course replaced later by Het Haru and Tahuti. But Haru was able to impel the testicle of Set. You know, that's why Set became like a deity of the desert because it represents barrenness. Like you can't create now. You don't have any testicles. You know, so sometimes we go through a barren period in our life, and we lose our knowing of creation. And that's all I was trying to like remind him of. Like, yo, you created something. You were waiting on the welfare line, and from the welfare line, you were able to sit and write this whole song that you still remember to this day. So, you know, so many years later, um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was a good amount of years later. But nonetheless, you start marrying yourself to that knowing. And like I said, you look at them ancient works, and no matter what's happening, you always see that same admonition: do not be afraid, because I'm here. I'm here. So it's just like he was able to go through his experience and get cleaned up because I was there. And I told him that. I was like, yo, bro, like, because he came in the shop when he was like, yo, I need your help. And I'm going to show you how it actually popped off before I go. He actually asked me to pray for him. And I was like, yo, man, I'm sorry, I don't know if I got it set up right, whatever. I ain't putting it back on this thing. I like sit on the grass a little bit and then have this propped up. But I'm gonna put it up here. I'll just hold it until we go. But yeah, he came in and asked me to pray for him, and I'm like, yo, man, stop playing. Like, we mean pray for you. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, cause you know, I know you're a real spiritual kind of brother and everything. He was like, yo, and he was like, yo, I need your help, man. And I thought he was gonna ask me for some bread, which I was gonna give him anyway. You know what I mean? You know, and he was like, you know, he was like, I'm trying to get it together, man. I need your help, you. So he was like, man, you pray for me or something. That's why he was like, you gotta do something, man. He's like, yo, you need to pray for me or something, man, something. And I was like, man, I ain't no preacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, nah, but I could tell, man, you a deep brother. Yeah, I remember that night like it was yesterday. He's like, you a real deep brother, man. Like, you know, he was like, come on, you man, I need some help. And we started talking, man, and he shared, you know, he had a child that no one knew. He was like, yeah, man, I got a daughter. I ain't seen her, and you know, I don't want her to see me like this and this and that, you know. And that's how everything actually started. And then, you know, um, I had kind of put a test in front of him. I was like, yo, there's a field that I used to go work out at. I was like, yo, meet me at the field tomorrow morning. You know, I think I might have still been saying morning back then. You know, I was like, meet me at the field tomorrow morning. You know, whoop de whoop. You know, we'll chop it up and we'll get things organized. But we ended up talking to like 3, 4 a.m. and I still went to the field. You know, I was like, I'm gonna run home, shower up, you know, hit the field, and then I think back then I was still in school back then. I was still doing my undergrad. So I was like, yeah, then I gotta go to school, you know. Um, but nonetheless, it was him being able to push through his fear of, because I could have just laughed at him, you know what I mean, and whatever, and being able to accept some guidance from a younger man, and you know, he was willing to divorce himself from what he was afraid of in that moment, which was, I've tried this a bunch of times, it didn't work, you know, and like I said, man, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? You got me, bro. And I told him just like that, like, you know where I'm at. I'm here, man. So I'll rock with you, but I'm not. And I told him like this: I'm not gonna hustle harder than you hustle. So I'm not. I can't want this more than you want it. If you want to get right, you get right. And you just keep it quiet. Don't tell anybody. And that's what we did. And he's that was probably um man, I'm trying to remember the year. You know what? Whatever year y'all figured out. Whatever year, I think it was the year before that. There was a group by the name of Next back in the days, and it came out with a song "Too Close." The year that song came out, or I think it might have been like the year right before that song came out. That's when it happened. So that had to have been like '99, maybe '98, somewhere around there. You know, that's and he's been good ever since then. He's been good ever since then. Yeah, maybe even earlier than that. Whatever year that came, because I remember one time it was playing on the radio in the shop, and he came in, like, yeah, baby, came in dancing, and that's how I remember. I just remember that scene because he was kind of a short dude too, you know what I mean, and had voice was like this from all that drinking, from drinking for so many years. Yo, what's up? Yeah, 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 yeah. That's how he sounded, like fresh out. If y'all know who Fresh Out ain't ready to go back. He was like that, you know. But yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, man. Divorce yourself from your fear. Write it a Dear John letter. Push beyond it, man, and don't let these sick marriages that you have continue to control who it is that you're expecting to be, and create new expectations for yourself based upon what you've sown into. You know what I mean? Not just based upon um, a sense of entitlement. You know what I mean? But let your expectations be based upon what you've sown into. That's just the thing, man. Write that Dear John letter, and you could call it a ritual. Do whatever you want. I'm gonna write one. We'll write it together. I got some stuff that I got to divorce from too, man. A lot of us as we go through life, we pick up different pessimisms. We pick up different ideas that don't really work for us, and a lot of times we have to do those self checks and inventory to see, like, okay, what do I let go of this season, man? So we'll do it together. Like I told, almost said his name. Like I told my man, I'm with you. You know what I mean? And this is a journey through life's perfection, but we're perfecting. No one has it, and whoever has it ain't here. If you still on the planet, that means you still got work to do. You know, and that goes for me too. I got a lot of work to do. Look, I don't even have a freaking stand for my little tablet here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm knocking it on the ground. And matter of fact, isn't this is the second time this thing fell? Remember, I think it was the second command your day, second or third one, something like that. And I flipped the damn thing over. And now this time the wind blow and it flips on the ground. So you know what happens next? It breaks. And then obviously, see, every time you're trying to do right, you're trying to do good for people, something bad happened. Yeah, because you didn't get a stand. Maybe I need to, maybe I need to carve a little bit out of that super chat. Didn't get a stand. What do y'all think? Maybe that'll be on the poll too, so I can stop dropping my thing before it breaks. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. I went a little longer than I wanted, but like it's first day, and we really commanding the whole strong. We're commanding the day, but we're commanding the strong, and that's what we're gonna do. To get a stand, go ahead and get the stand. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a stand. You know what I mean? Because I can't keep dropping it. That's two warnings. The third one's gonna be a doozy. You already know that. Or it might be one of them days where I'm filming inside and I ain't got no bottoms on. You know what I mean? And thing flip off, and you know what I mean, and it really be a flip off. You know what I mean? So I don't want that to happen. You know, yeah. So I'll make sure I do the right thing. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to share, man. I'm gonna let you all enjoy your first day. You probably got some breakfast. Yeah, exactly. Good thing it fell on the grass. You're right. Absolutely. Um, yeah. But there's stuff it could have hit. There's rocks and stuff. It could have hit some, you know. But yeah, I'm not gonna mess around. I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna mess around. I'm gonna get a stand, you know. But I really want to do the food drive too. But you know, I think there's enough in there to do both. Stands are not that expensive. I get something sturdy. All right, everyone, enjoy your first day, please. And if you feel to work on the letter, go right ahead. And if you get stuck, when we do our next one tomorrow, if you need some help, maybe the language or whatever, just put it in the chat or put it in the comments, and maybe we could do like some templates. So then, because you might, some of you might got like 10, 15 spouses. You might be, poly. You got polydemonic marriages. So you might have to do a piece, Heather Smart. You might have to do a bunch of them, you know. But yeah, man, we're gonna expect some great things because we're gonna do some great things. That's just what's gonna happen because, you know, in order for stuff to get right, stuff has to ferment, and clearly the world is fermenting. you know, food crisis, economic crisis, political crisis, race crisis, everything's in crisis, right? So we're going to use that to rise. We're going to use all the energy from those crises to rise up to where we're supposed to be. All right? All right, everyone. Be well. Peace, 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 peace.